for joining us. Today we're going to take a look at importing drone imagery.
And we're on an Android device. So we have RoofSnap from the Google Play Store. And we're using this good Samsung device here.
Yes.
Importing a drone image is very similar, almost identical in fact, to importing blueprints. So if you've ever done any importing, it's pretty much the same. You may have seen a recent video that we've created on importing blueprints, and there's that project at the top with that blueprint.
Yeah.
So let's show how to do it with the drone image. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the plus button here. And let's just go ahead and give the project a name, drone image, and I'm going to put it into our sample office. I would recommend going ahead and putting in an address. Now we're going to use a drone image from a project. Couldn't even tell you what the address is. So I'm not going to put in an address, but please do go ahead and put in the address here. And then, of course, if there's any separate billing info or insurance details, add those to the details of the project as well. And then just go ahead and tap on the Done button. That'll take us right here into the project screen. Now, some of you may wonder, do I have to use drone imagery? We made a lot of videos on using drone images in RoofSnap. But most of the time, you're going to be able to use imagery from RoofSnap that already exists. So, for example, when we go into the sketch scene, it's going to zoom in on our geographical location.
Right.
And we're seeing some sort of standard definition imagery here. And of course, we can load in Nearmap's high resolution imagery. But in some locations, just more rural locations, very far outside of your typical city limits, you're not going to have good resolution. And so utilizing a drone is going to be paramount in order to get a nice high resolution image, in order to get accurate measurements in RoofSnap.
Or maybe you're already utilizing drones to use as a selling tool for your customer.
Yep, doing maybe video inspections, or just so that you spend less time physically inspecting the roof. It's a safe method. So a lot of roofing companies are already using drones for that reason, and this is just one more added benefit if you're already using a drone. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Import button and go to my Photos library here, and I have a pretty nice looking drone image, so I'm going to go ahead and load that in, and it's going to bring us into the scale scene of RoofSnap. Now we're in pan and zoom, and I just kind of want to show you how nice and high resolution. I mean, you really can't get a better image of the roof. I can see the leaves and the gutters.
No, it's phenomenal.
It is amazing. But what's very, very important within RoofSnap is that you get your drone to a high elevation.
Yes.
If the drone is only 20, 30 feet above the roof and you take an image, the rakes are going to be distorted. They're going to be crooked. You're going to instantly tell something's wrong with that roof. Hips will be exaggerated, and they'll appear to be much longer than they actually are. So we recommend flying your drone to an altitude of 350, 400 feet, the maximum altitude that is allowed by whatever your legislation may be for flying drones.
Absolutely.
That being said, we have some tips on how you can go about setting the scale. So Katrina, what's one of the recommendations you have for setting scale, for getting a scale measurement?
Yes. So a couple of tips when you're there on site flying the drone is to pop a PVC pipe in the gutter line. A lot of people will spray paint them like a bright orange color so you can see it very clearly in the image. Pop it there in the gutter line and trace that to set the scale.
You may carry that 10-foot, 20-foot length of PVC with you, and just like Katrina said, drop it in the gutter line. Some customers will also park their vehicle very close to the roof, and perhaps you have an extension ladder on your truck, and you know how long that ladder is when it's on your truck from end to end. You could draw out the length of your ladder and use that to set the scale. The best way, of course, though, for getting scale is going to be to take one physical measurement. So measure a long eave or measure a long ridge. Now on this one, I wouldn't recommend a ridge because there are no long ridges. But if you can grab the length of the eave here across the bottom, or maybe the one here across the driveway. Now when you're measuring the eave, whether you're using 100-foot tape or a wheel, don't measure from the wall to the end of the other wall, because that's not going to include any soffit overhangs.
Mhm.
Make sure you're measuring from the actual end of the roof line to the other end of the roof line.
Yep.
So in that case, let's say that we have a physical measurement from the gutter where it comes to a T there, or an outside corner, I think is the better way to say it,
Yeah.
to the bottom outside corner here. So you want to zoom that in, maybe put it here kind of towards the center of the screen, and then flip over to scale. And when you put your finger on the screen, it's going to be a lot like drawing in RoofSnap. So I'm going to come from the outside edge of that gutter, and I'm going to come all the way down to the outside edge of the gutter here. And based on our physical measurement, so let's say it's 47 feet and 2 inches, because we know 2 inches is 0.17.
Convert that into a decimal.
Yep, always convert inches over to a decimal. So whatever the inches are, divided by 12. Then tap on the OK button. And that's going to go ahead and save that image now with a scale. And any line that we draw on the roof will get its scale set automatically. So just to kind of show you, now when I draw this, I measured from the outside of the gutter to the outside of the gutter, but I'm actually going to draw it from the middle of the gutter to the middle of the gutter. That usually gives us the most accurate measurements. And so it's just going to be shy. It's going to be 46.8 since I didn't go all the way to the outside of the gutters as they appear there. From here, you would just go ahead and draw out all the lines of the roof, label all the edges, and put in your pitch values like you would on any other RoofSnap drawing. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.